Hey all, I've been wanting to speak to this for a while. It comes up in so many conversations that I'm in. Um, and I just want to name it because it's so pervasive. And it's the way that we use language. We talk about the mind and we talk about the body. And then the whole, world of yoga and now kind of Western models of somatics are built on, bridging this gap. Now, part of what created this gap is language. And so part of what can weave this gap is language. And it's just an invitation to each of you, actually, just to realize and recognize and be aware of when you're saying your mind is blah 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 blah. If you're speaking about cognition, if you're speaking about mental constructs, if you're speaking about your intellectual self, go ahead and use that language. uh, Let the mind kind of go back to its home of being this whole organism that we are. Let the body include the functions of the mental, the intellectual, the cognitive. We can name what we're talking about, what kind of function we're talking about when we say something like the mind. Um, Descartes, as far as I understand, played a big role in helping us do the separation. I think, therefore I am. And um, every philosophy and every body of thought, school of thought that was put together based on mind over matter, including spiritual principles. And I like to think of mind over matter as a tool rather than a helpful philosophy. It is good at times to feel our emotional body, our physical body going through something, that we can shift the frame of how we are perceiving what's occurring. Um, Unfortunately, mind over matter stuff can get into building illusion, and disconnecting from the body and the felt sense of what's occurring so easily that I think we need to be really, really cautious with that stuff. But to use it as a tool, absolutely, absolutely. But to see it as like the ultimate truth or some philosophy to get you, stronger and better in all areas of life, no. I'm gonna question us on that one. Um, so an invitation to, I mean, if you want to use mind and body in a sentence, like I'm kind of into the mind body with a hyphen, um, hyphenating mind body, or even putting those words together, just smush them. Take those two train cars and just like put them together, mind body. Anything that can help us reweave uh, felt experience and cognition. It's all working together. It's all working together all the time. There are different routes in, sometimes bottom up, going from the feeling into what are we making of the feeling. Really important, right? If we start to believe the meaning we're making of things as the primary rather than the feeling states we're having, that's more potential for illusion, um, and make believe, and and suffering, particularly if we frame something in a way that isn't helpful to our holism. Experiencing the freedom of actually being a whole being. Um, and yeah, and if you see yourself saying like my mind keeps doing this thing, or my mind takes me away from my body, or something like that, just note that's probably not the case ultimately, and perhaps using language like, yeah, I start thinking, and then I kind of lose touch with what I'm feeling in a physical way or in an emotional way. I think the more nuanced and more precise we get around this, the healthier we're going to be, the easier we are going to be able to experience, realize, remember that there's one song and dance going on here. So, just something I wanted to put words to. I hope you will be part of the revolution with me, particularly if you're in the world of somatics or yoga or consciousness raising or um, academia, particularly. You know, all these fields where those splits become so um, the splits in the language become so normalized, and it's just how we say it, it's just how we speak about it. I'm inviting us to do better for the sake of our life.